Hi, I'm Matt Ryan. I'm going to be y'all's 2017-2018 trumpet section leader. And today I'm going to be talking with y'all about how to best memorize your music. First things first, I'm going to dive straight into it. You want to listen to your music and the first movement a lot. What we have this year that we haven't had in past years is that the first movement is on the band website. I encourage y'all to listen to that over and over because like your favorite song that you know, I bet you know all the words to it. It's the same way with band. If you listen to something over and over, you'll start to memorize it faster. And the faster we memorize something, the faster we can get to critiquing it, which is very important. Next thing is looking at the dynamics and the style of the music. For marching band, it's going to change quite a bit because we have a lot of stuff to put in there in 8 minutes. And so right at the start, I'm looking at this, it starts off very quiet, then it grows, and at the very end of the first phrase, it goes back down to quiet. When memorizing, you want to incorporate these all at the beginning because that way you don't have to add them later, which is a lot harder once you've already started learning how to play your original way. It's hard to break a habit. So if you start off with good habits, that sets up a good future. So next thing to best memorize is repetition. If you repeat something over and over and over again, you're going to be able to better memorize it. And so I'm not going to like beat this dead when playing to y'all because if I wanted to memorize this entire thing, it'd probably take me a long time. So that's another thing. You want to get started early. If you try to start memorizing it in one day, you will hate yourself for doing it. It is not fun to do. Trust me, I have tried to do it. It is not fun. It is very hard. It'll take you a long time. So if you start early and do a little bit every day, that'll be a lot better, and you'll become a better player by doing it that way because it creates good habits by practicing small chunks every day instead of big chunks in like very few days. And so I'm not going to play a whole lot, but I just want to play the opening for y'all and show how I incorporate the dynamics and how I look at the style. And also what's important is to breathe a lot. Breathe in correct places, of course, though, but whenever you're on the marching field, you are going to be tired. You need to breathe a lot. So whenever I first start, it's only piano, but I'm going to take a huge breath because I know that I have to play a lot. So this is how the opening is going to sound, and I just wanted to play it for y'all. And so that's the opening of our piece. It's a really nice opening. Our show is called Spring Forward, Fall Back, and so there's parts throughout all this of Appalachian Spring, Rite of Spring, and so there's some really good music that we have in here. If you don't know those two songs, I encourage y'all to listen to them. They're very good pieces of music, and they're just fun to listen to. So that's the first part, and if I were to try and memorize that, I would probably play looking at the music a few times because that's the way I know how it sounds, and then I'd probably turn my stand around and then try and play a little, like 3 measures of it, just 3 measures of it from memorization. I bet I could do that right now. I'm not going to look at it. I promise. I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating. I swear, I'm not cheating. And so I know that it starts soft and then grows. So I'm just going to play the first 3 measures for y'all. And so that's the first 3 measures. See, it's not a whole lot of stuff. And so if you do a little bit every day, then that'll help you a lot. And so I'm just going to go on to the next part and look at key things to look at. So also whenever you're trying to memorize something, you want to have a pencil ready and be circling things that change. So if we go to the next part where the trumpets enter, which is at E, I noticed that there's a dynamic change, which is now fortissimo, when the beginning started at piano. And we now have accents, which we did not have a single accent in the beginning. And it's just it's just going to be a loud part of the show. And so that's one key thing to look at every time you're memorizing something. You want to see how the style changes from part to part of the music. And so that's E to F. So E to F, loud, strong articulation. That's what to remember. So beginning is soft, legato, it grows, and then it goes back to soft. E is loud, strong articulation. And next we get to G. G for the first trumpet part. I know this part is different for each of the trumpet parts. G is a bunch of intervals, and it's a lot of eighth notes. And this is going to be going really fast. It's going to be at 178, which is about, it's fast. And so I know that eighth notes are going to be really fast, and the intervals are going to be big. So this is one of the parts I'd practice the most. I know it's going to be the hardest part of the show, especially when on the move. So I noticed that the style and articulation is the same, except the dynamic marking is only forte instead of fortissimo. So that's one thing I noticed. The dynamic is the only thing that's different. And then after the eighth note pattern, we have two strong chords. They are marked fortissimo, and those are big, strong chords that we want the entire stadium to hear. And so I have all these things marked on my music. I have already circled the changes that I see in phrases, and so that is important whenever memorizing music. And then the next big change that comes is right at I. That's when we have our key signature change. So the key signature changes throughout the entire piece are very important to notice. You don't want to keep on playing in the wrong key because it'll just sound bad. We do not want to sound bad. We are known for our great sound and our big, full band sound. We are very good, and so we want to keep that. So if we don't recognize key changes, how are we going to still sound that good? So I have the key signature circled, and then I have that it's back to fortissimo, which is important. And then the articulation is strong. There's a mixture between accents and then no accents, so you want to differentiate the accents and no accents. So I'm going to play at I, and I see that there's now a C sharp and an F sharp in the key signature. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. And I tried to do the crescendo. I really hope that came out well in the recording because I was like right next to the phone. So if it sounds really bad, I promise I'm not a bad player. It's just because of the recording. And it gets really loud. Fortissimo in concert band is a lot different than fortissimo in marching band. Fortissimo in marching band is like 100 times louder. You want to be playing loud but with a good sound. It is important to play with a good sound always. And then after the end of that long note comes J, and this is a loud moment where we want to surprise all the audience because there's a big break, and then there's just a big entrance with the trumpets and the flutes, I believe, have the melody. And so you just want to make these differences, and as we continue, you have to notice a change in style and articulation. So if you're to take something away from this video, it's to always notice the style, articulation, and the dynamics of a piece. That is very important to memorizing. And then the second thing to memorizing is repetition. If you are just repeat something over and over, you will know how it sounds in your head. And the third thing is just listen to the music that we have online. This I can't explain to you how much that helps. Especially for me, because I cannot hear pitches in my head very well. And so if I hear something like a note, I'll be able to match the note a lot better. So if I know how something sounds, I'll be able to play a lot better. So I really hope you find this video helpful, and there will be another video to come of all the brass playing their parts together from memory. And I hope y'all are excited for the season, because I know I am. Thank you.